Hey everyone, this is your man Marlon Copeland, and I'm here with the top 10. 2901 Productions proudly presents to you the top 10. So today we're going to talk about the top 10 wrestling belts of all time. So I'm a big wrestling fan, and I thought that since SummerSlam just happened, SummerSlam just recently happened. We had the recent passing of Hulk Hogan. So I thought it was a good time to talk about some of the most iconic wrestling titles that we've ever seen in modern wrestling history. I mean, because back in the 30s and 40s, some of those belts was complete trash. Let's see here. So what I have is the Sporter, the Sportster. I'm going to say it's called the Sportster. I do follow their videos on YouTube. I never know how to pronounce the name of their publication, but they also have articles that they write as well. So with that, I want to go over their top 10 belts, and then I'll go over my top 10 belts, and then we'll just see who has the better top 10 between the two. So that's how we're going to kick this thing off now. So the Sportster, I would say, I'm going to say Sportster. The Sportsters, their top 10 titles, starting out at number 10, the AWA World Heavyweight Championship. The belt debuted in May of 1960. The belt was retired in 1990, only because the AWA went out of business around that time. AWA was a great company. Just, a little back history on the AWA. That's where Hulk Hogan was at. And Hulk Hogan had the opportunity to be in a movie, and Vern Gagne, who was the owner of AWA, he did not want Hulk Hogan to be in this movie. So this movie had a guy by the name of Sylvester Stallone in it. And Hulk Hogan was to play a character named Thunder Lips. And the thing of it is, back in the day, I would say right before the Attitude Era, there's a thing called kayfabe for a lot of people who don't know. Kayfabe is basically blurring the lines of reality. And I think that maybe the thought process was, if Hogan did this movie, that people would think wrestling was fake, because we were still under the notion of wrestling may potentially be real, like the real punches, the real this and real that. And I think that Vern Gagne was thinking, if Hogan did this movie, it can be a problem. So he fired Hogan, and Vince McMahon Sr. Actually, Hogan wrestled in the WWF up under Vince McMahon Sr. Then he was let go and went to the AWA. Then they let him go based off of the Rocky movie. And then Vince Jr. saw the opportunity to bring in a Hulk Hogan due to the fact of Bob Backlund was their guy at the time. And Vince wanted to kind of bring in someone who was, that dude. Like, Bob Backlund was a wrestler. Hogan was a body guy. So he wanted to, and we was moving into the world of bodies in Vince's mind. So, AWA probably could still be around if they would have rode the wave of Hulk Hogan. And it seems like, God bless the dead, but we all know Hulk Hogan lied a lot. So, but Hogan kind of said he already had the notion of being Hulk Hogan in his head and taking it off. But anyway, the AWA World Heavyweight Championship was a beautiful title. It's one of my favorite titles I've ever seen. And I don't know if it's number 10 or not, but it's definitely a beautiful title. It could be a little too low, could be a little too high. I don't know. We'll see. So number 9 on their list is the NWA World Television Heavyweight Championship. Let me tell you about this belt. Every time I see this belt, I always think about Arn Anderson. It is one of the most beautiful belts that you could ever see. It is. It has a red strap. And the writing's in red. It's a beautiful belt. You ever get a chance, you should look it up. It's a couple of modifications of the belt. But the NWA World Television Championship belt was a beautiful title. And like to me, when I see titles, I always think about certain wrestlers. So like when I was talking about the AWA title, I think about Mr. Perfect. Well, at the time he was known as Kurt Hennig. I think about Nick Bockwinkel. I think about Vern Gagne. I think about Greg Gagne. Those are the people I think about with those belts, with that title. When I think about the NWA World Television title, I think about Arn Anderson. It was just, I love this belt. I am someone who collect wrestling belts. I do have a few. Yes, I am a man in his mid-40s that spends hundreds of dollars on wrestling titles, and I don't give a damn what you think. But this is one belt that I do covet, and I will get it at some point in time. So yeah, it started out. I think it was the design that I liked was like from the 80s, but we'll get into that. It's obviously on my top 10. Number 8 on their list, the traditional WWE World Tag Team titles. The particular belts that they're talking about, this belt was out from 1985 to 2002. I think that is the best tag team title design of all time. When I think about this particular design, I think about the Hart Foundation. I think about Demolition. Those are the two teams that come to my mind when I think about those titles. And the Rockers, they won the titles before, but the Hart Foundation is like the staple in my mind. Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Those are the two guys that I think about when I think about these WWE tag team titles. The particular variation that I'm talking about. I love those titles. The titles are phenomenal. I wish they would have kept them. I understand that they want to make changes, but the changes that they made, I did not like. I did not like those bronze circular bullshit titles that they made. But hey, great number 8. I really do like this design. Number 7, the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship. This particular title was active between 1991 and it closed the company down in 2001. So the belt had a 10-year title reign, or title design. Some of the most notable people to hold this particular title, this particular design, I think about Stone Cold. Stunning Steve Austin had it. I think the two people I'm going to say that made this belt stand out the most, this particular design, would be Rick Rude, Ravishing Rick Rude, and Lex Luger, because those two guys, like Lex Luger was always in the United States title mix. It's a beautiful design, but the design before that was from 1985 to 1991. That is the title that I love. I love that title so much, and it's actually one of the titles that I have collected. I do think that the particular WCW United States title that the Sportster is talking about is a beautiful title, but it has nothing on the model before it. The model before it was just so beautiful. It was bold, and every time I see it, I think about Lex Luger. He's the only guy that I think about when I see that belt. But number 7, the last model of the United States title was a beautiful model, and I do agree. I don't know if it's on my top 10 or not. Number 6, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship version 4. I like that title. It is a very nice title. If you ever think about this particular title, you think about Kenny Omega. He's the wrestler that comes to my mind when I think about it. It's a beautiful design. I mean, it's not their most beautiful belt, but it is a nice design. And Kenny Omega is the guy that comes to my mind when I think about it. Kenny Omega is a great wrestler. I do like watching him in AEW. He's not the same Kenny Omega that he was in New Japan, but he still is a very effective wrestler, and I do like watching him. So we're going to move on from that particular title. We're going to go to number 4. The WWE Undisputed Heavyweight Championship. This was a merger of two titles, and this particular title was active from 2002 to 2005. So if you know what title I'm talking about, it's the black title, and it's black and it has the W up top. Is when they got rid of the F because of the World Wildlife Federation, and it just says champion. When I think about this particular title, I think about Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, who came back and beat the shit out of John Cena once again. You know, I'm gonna sidestep the title talk. I want to talk about SummerSlam a little bit. SummerSlam was really good, and I want to give kudos to Cody Rhodes and to John Cena. Just thinking about the match that they had the other night. The WrestleMania match was bad. It was clunky. It just wasn't a horrible match, but it wasn't a main event caliber match. And I thought that John Cena and Cody could have did better. Now, granted, I've been watching wrestling a long time, and I can look at a wrestler and say, Father Time is ticking. So when I watch John Cena, I know that Father Time is ticking, but I also know that John Cena can give better matches than that. I've never thought that John Cena was he would never be known for wrestling, as if he's Bret Hart, right? But we've known him to put on better matches than what he put on at WrestleMania. I do like the fact that he is the guy now that has the 17 title reigns, and let Ric Flair tell you he has like 24 reigns. But what we're going to acknowledge is the 17 title reigns of John Cena. Sorry, Rick. I love you, but we're sorry on that. But the match they had last night was a really good match. I like the roller coaster that it took all of us on. I like the fact that Cody had to think because, in the WrestleMania match, Cody wouldn't pull the trigger. So now he pulled the trigger and he beat him. He beat him fair and square. It was a street fight. He beat him fair and square. I think Brock was a surprise. I kind of felt like Brock was coming because on Twitter there was a tweet that went out that said 25 minutes ago there was a hooded person that was ushered into the building quickly and was surrounded by security. And I'm like, there's no other wrestling free agent that I can think of that can come in and make a big impact on night 2. But it had to be Brock Lesnar. It's not that he's necessarily a free agent. He's just been chilling on the ranch. To the Janelle Grant thing got cleared up, solidified, or whatnot. So I'm going to assume by his appearance that the Janelle Grant situation has either been cleared up or is about to be cleared up, or Brock's name has been cleared. I've always thought that the situation was more so about Vince and Janelle Grant. There was just names mentioned, like a John Laurinaitis and or Brock Lesnar. But nevertheless, Brock is back, and he F5 Cena for like the 1 millionth time in their career. One other thing before I finish this list, I would like to say that I think that when you watch this situation with John Cena, his retirement match, it's all the ghosts of John Cena's past. The Randy Ortons, the who else? He took on Randy Orton, CM Punk. Now he got Brock, the world title. Like, it's just everything from his past is culminating. And I think that Brock is probably going to put him over in regards to his final match. We're going to see that will and that guile and that gut from John Cena, the leader of the C Nation. He's going to come out there and figure out a way to overcome Suplex City. He don't want to visit that. That shit look like it hurt. I was just talking about that the other night. That damn Suplex City shit, that one match when he created Suplex City, that shit, look, I don't give a damn how scripted it is. Like, I know me and one of my friends, we always talk about how hard that damn ring is. We've been in that ring. We've touched that ring. It hurts. So to take that many German suplexes, sheesh. My hat's off to John Cena. But SummerSlam was great. Shout out to Seth Rollins. Shout out to CM Punk. Shout out to everyone at SummerSlam. It was a great 2-night event. Now, went on my little tangent. So, with this number 5 title, the WWE Undisputed Championship, I do think about Brock Lesnar. He beat The Rock for it. He became the youngest champion in WWE history at the time. Probably still is. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a nice belt. But it's alright. It's alright. It definitely would. It would not be that high on my list. I can assure you of that. Number 4, the 1980s variation of the WWE Intercontinental. Oh my God, WWE Intercontinental Championship title. Listen, you want to talk about a thing of beauty? That Intercontinental title is so fucking beautiful, and the names that I think about when I see it, actually, it's only one name. I would say Bret Hart is like an honorable mention because in the 80s they didn't want to put the world title on him, so they kept giving him the Intercontinental title. But actually, I give it 3 names: Bret Hart, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, because he had one of the best matches at WrestleMania that I can remember, and the person who I think about more than anyone. Oh no, let me rewind back. I give another name who I think about. Hey, yo, Chico. I think about Razor Ramon also. Shawn Michaels had a great reign with this belt as well, but I do think about Razor Ramon because I think about Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon with their ladder match. That was a great match. But Bret Hart, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and the one person who I think about every time I see this title, and I'm gonna buy it. It's one that is on my wish list to buy. Oh yeah, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Yeah, I think about this title all the time when I see it. Yeah, I think about Macho Man when I see this belt, man. It's a beautiful design. I one of my favorite belts of all time. So, if you want to know what particular title I'm talking about, you can see it online. It is the active. This particular version of the title was active between 1985 and 1997. They should have never changed the design of this title. It was beautiful. I mean, I know they had to take the F off, and just put a W, but they should have never changed this title. It's so beautiful. I actually like the Intercontinental title that they have now, but it's not the OG. It's not the one I grew up with. Number 3 on this list. This is another belt that is very sentimental to me. And if you are a fan of WCW, you remember Hulk Hogan spraying the NWO letters on this particular title. It's the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. A lot of us call it a big gold belt. I actually own this belt. It's a beautiful title. It's, to me, the title kind of represents winning. You know what I mean? So some of the people I think about when I see this title, I think about Ric Flair. I think about the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby. Think about him. And from a more modern era, I think about Triple H. Because we had the reign of the Triple H reign of terror, and that was the belt that he had, the big gold belt. So definitely think about Triple H with that title as well. Beautiful design. Number 2 on the list. On their list, fuck. Wow. I don't know if I agree with this, but it's not my list. Number 2 on their list is the Winged Eagle, the WWE Championship. This belt is the most beautiful title I've ever seen in my life. If you want to know what title I'm talking about, the years that this title was active was 1988 through 1998. And some of the people I think about winning, and this is the title, I actually think about Bret Hart, because Bret Hart was the guy, they changed the design when he got in the mix of winning the title. I think he won it from Yokozuna. Then Hogan came out there and did his shit. But definitely, I would say if I had to think about someone, it would be Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and Yokozuna, and maybe The Undertaker. Listen, I love this design. The last person to win the title was Stone Cold Steve Austin in 1998 at WrestleMania 13. He won it from Shawn Michaels. The very next night on Monday Night Raw, they ushered in the Big Eagle, which is virtually the same design, but not the same. It's not. It's something about that winged eagle, man, that we all can't get out of our heads. Listen, the winged eagle's so popular. If you go back a couple months ago, the Saturday Night Main Event when Cody Rhodes took on Kevin Owens, they brought out the winged eagle, or they allowed Cody to wear the winged eagle to the ring. And it's just such a flawless design as far as titles are concerned. So just, I don't know who the hell made it, but they should have kept their title. And number 1 on the Sportsters list is probably the Big Eagle. Let's see. I'm almost for sure it's the Big Eagle. I don't know. Yes, it is the Big Eagle. I do love this belt. I do love it. So I love it for a sentimental reason. I actually own a replica of it. I love the belt because my all-time favorite wrestler won the belt in 1998 from Shawn Michaels, which is Stone Cold Steve Austin. He won the original winged eagle, and then they presented him with the Big Eagle. This belt was active from 1998 till 2002. But then also in that time, Stone Cold Steve Austin had the Smoking Skull belt. I didn't really care for the Smoking Skull belt. Then they were supposed to have a Brahma Bull belt. They sell it, but I would never buy those. I would never buy the Smoking Skull belt, and I would never buy the Brahma Bull belt. I think the Brahma Bull belt is fucking ugly. But that's the Sportsters list. Now let's see, can I do something with that list? I think I can do a better job than that. We're gonna see. So, number 10 on my list, the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. I love this design, and I want to say this belt was talked about on their list as well. I think it's a phenomenal title. I mean, I think about, when I see it, I think about Jon Moxley, actually, because he's probably their guy in regards. He's AEW's guy. I think he's had the most title reigns. Now, the guy who I want to see hold this title is Maxwell Jacob Freeman, recently of Happy Gilmore stature. Did a good job in there. Didn't really do too much, but did a good job. This one looked like one of his big overgrown children. But that's who should be the champion, and they should figure out a way to give this man a long, lengthy Roman Reigns-like reign. But love that title. The AEW World Heavyweight Championship is a beautiful design. I know the very first champion was Chris Jericho, but I think about Jon Moxley when I see this title. Number 9 is a beautiful design. I do not own this particular title, but I do like the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. I think it's a beautiful title. I love the rustic color of the background. I think about Kenny Omega when I see this title. Kenny Omega is just that dude, man. He went over there and kicked ass, and he's that guy. Don't know what else to say about him, but I really love the title design. I think it's a beautiful title. I don't want everybody to think I'm so WWE centric, because I am a guy who watched all kinds of wrestling when I was a kid. I watched AEW. I mean, not AEW. They wasn't around. Look at me being like Hulk Hogan. I watched WCW, AWA, World Class, Mid Atlantic, NWA, UWF, and obviously I watched WWF. But actually, WWF was my least favorite back then because I thought it was very cartoony, and I like the realism of everybody else except for the WWE. But hey, I didn't know any better at the time. So, all right, number 8 on my list, the Big Eagle. I literally have this title. It's a beautiful design. It's just not the winged eagle. It is beautiful, though. I love it. I think about Stone Cold Steve Austin with this title. I think about The Rock. Beautiful title, man. It's definitely on my list, but it's my list, so it's obviously on my list. The only thing, if I had to say something negative about the title. I didn't like the fact that they just tried to copy the winged eagle. So I wish they would have did a little bit better. And then the title didn't even last that long. So neither here nor there, but beautiful title. It's just not the winged eagle. You know what I mean? Number 7 on my list is the AWA World Heavyweight Championship. When I tell you this damn title is so beautiful, and I told you on their list, I think about Kurt Hennig. I think about Nick Bockwinkel. I think about Vern Gagne. I think about Greg Gagne. I think about the people who should have won the title, which is Scott Hall, Big Scott Hall. And there's a thing, everybody that watches wrestling now, you know Scott Hall to look like a Dominican guy, whatever they tried to portray him as Razor Ramon. If you go back to the 80s, there was a time where Scott Hall looked like a gigantic version of David Hasselhoff. And his name was Big Scott Hall. And he used to tag with Kurt Hennig, before he was Mr. Perfect. But I love this title. It's a beautiful design. I mean, when I say beautiful, I mean, look at it. You tell me, what have you seen look better than that? I have a few that look better than that in my opinion, but it is a beautiful title. Number 6 on my list, a title that's very sentimental to me, makes me think about my guy, Double A. Arn Anderson. So this is the NWA World television title, which I was talking about earlier because it's on the Sportsters list. So obviously we have a few belts in common. This belt is more so on my list because it's sentimental, but I just love the design of it, and it's a title that I'm going to buy. I just got to wait till I get my allowance, and I can buy my title. I get to buy my title because I just got to get my allowance up. But I love that world television title. It's a beautiful design. Like I said that about a lot of these belts. It brings back a lot of memories to see it. I mean, all I think about is Arn Anderson holding up them 4. You know what I'm saying? But hey, so far I think my list is better than the Sportsters list. So now we're gonna move on. And this is where people are probably gonna say, I done lost my damn mind. If they're into wrestling belts, they're gonna say I lost my damn mind, because I am pretty much taking this particular title and lowering where a lot of people hold it at. So let's see here. Number 5 on my list. This is gonna hurt a lot of feelings right here. The big gold belt. Now, let me explain to you, my people, the reason why this title sits lower than what it probably should on a lot of people's list, because I like to go by, when I'm choosing something that I like, I go by my sentimental value and what, beauty is the eye of the beholder. That's just like saying I can be with someone and you say, man, that girl is ugly as hell. Or, or somebody can say, man, you with Marlon's ugly as hell. And somebody else can say he's gorgeous or whatever, right? So it's subjective. So the big gold belt is beautiful to me. When I think about that title, I think about like winning an award. It makes me think about like the NBA championship, because it's just like a big gold champion, plaque or something. Then you think about someone like a Ric Flair coming out with all the, the $5,000 suits, the $20,000 shoes, and the $50,000 Rolex and all that type of stuff. So, it brings a lot of sentimental value, but it's not as high on my list as it would be on others. And I know some people are going to be like really mad, but that's my title, man. That's where it sits. Now, number 4 on my list. I fucking love this belt, and this is the belt that I was talking to you guys about. I actually have this title. It is the NWA United States Heavyweight Championship that was before the last variation before the company went out of business. I love this title. It's sentimental to me. I love those on the sides where it says United States at, and the way the flag thingy is. I love it. The plates. I think about Lex Luger with this title. He's the guy that comes to my mind with this title. The total package, Lex Luger. You know, it's just one of my favorite titles of all time, and I hold it in high regard. But there are some titles I hold higher. And speaking of me holding some titles higher, we're gonna move on to the number 3 title, the WWE Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. This is the one that I was saying to you guys earlier that they should have never made a change. This is the title I think about, the Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah, that's what I think about when I see this title. I love this title. You know, Stone Cold Steve Austin has this title. Matter of fact, Stone Cold Steve Austin said that he has this particular title in his safe. He was the Intercontinental Champion when Owen Hart mistakenly, power drived him and injured him and had him out for a few years. I love that title. It's the design is so sleek, but it's powerful and it just says something to me, and that's why I'm a big fan of that particular title. But there are titles in front of it. Hey, and speaking of that, the number 2 title that I'm going to put in front of it is the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. This particular title was before the big gold belt, because this is the NWA, and the NWA was bought by Ted Turner, which turned it into World Championship Wrestling, which is WCW, and he changed the title design. When I tell you I love this title, it is one of the most beautiful titles to me. It's sentimental to me, and I won't say who the person is, because they probably wouldn't want me to say who they are. But let's say when I was a kid, there was a person that arts and craft the fuck out of this title. They made a replica of this particular title, and we all used to pretend as if we were wrestling and try to win the title. But this particular person was always the champion, and I always wanted to beat that person to get the title, but I could never beat the person. And I think I won it one time, and I got conned into a rematch, and then they won. So I only held it for maybe 15 minutes or less. But nevertheless, this particular person did such a phenomenal job on making this title out of cardboard and coloring and everything. And they did so good that it stuck with me. It resonated with me so much that as a 46-year-old man, I had to buy the replica. And this particular person, I love him to my heart, and thank you for introducing this beautiful title to me. You're the reason why I actually bought this title. But I will say, it's not the most beautiful title I've ever seen in my life. The number 1 most beautiful title there's ever been made in the history of wrestling titles. There's nothing that could compare to this particular title that's coming up, and there's nothing no one can ever say that would change my mind, and that is the bottom line, because the Winged Eagle said so. This belt is so beautiful. I don't know a belt that is more beautiful than the Winged Eagle. This belt is, first of all, I guess I'm calling it belt too much. Vince would have had my ass, right? That don't even sound right in 2025. I can't even say that anymore. Pause. I'm not even the person that used the word pause, but I'm going to say it because Vince cannot have my ass. But the Winged Eagle was a phenomenal title. I'm telling you, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Sid Justice, or Vicious had this title. Listen, this is just a beautiful design. I don't know anything that tops this title. It is by far one of the most historically held, beautiful titles I've ever seen in my life. There's nothing. This title is it's the Michael Jordan of titles, since people like to always put Michael Jordan in this perfect category. It's the Michael Jordan of titles. It is the Bill Russell of titles. There's no title that's better than this title. Not the big gold belt, not the Intercontinental title, not the AEW title, not the I don't give a damn title. There's no title. Nothing. I cannot wait till I can buy that title. I cannot wait. But That is my list. My list is better than the Sportsters list, but I do like their list because we got a lot of the same things. I hope everybody liked this video. Please like and subscribe. Talk to me. Let me know what type of titles you like, because I'm pretty sure I missed somebody's title, But hey, ain't nothing. And the rock means nothing that's in front of the winged eagle. I hope everybody have a great day. I'm going to talk to you guys later. Take care.